Showtime's Homeland apparently hitting a little too close to home for Pakistan. Officials there are said to be furious with the way its government is portrayed in the latest season. Columnist Adriana Cohen says that Pakistan may want to focus more on its own homeland instead. Now, what would you mean?
Well, first of all, unfortunately, Pakistani women don't have the same freedom and equality that we have here in the United States, and it's really tragic. Over 1,000 Pakistani women are brutally killed every year in honor killings. And for those at home who may not know what an honor killing is, it's basically if a woman does anything to disrespect her family, it could be marrying a man that they don't approve of, rejecting a man that they choose for her, or adultery. They literally get stoned to death with bricks by members of their own family. It's horrendous.
But many Muslim countries, I mean, that's the rule of law anyway, right? So, well, I guess what I find odd in Pakistan's case is worry less about how you're portrayed, in American cinema or TV series, and more about the real-life terror around you.
Exactly, because as we know, the Taliban is really growing and becoming very powerful there. They say their army now, the TTP, which is this umbrella terrorist organization with many terrorist subgroups underneath it, there's 30,000 of them at least, and we all know about this horrific mass killing in the school in Peshawar in the middle of December, and so they have much greater problems in their image in Hollywood.
Well, I think what's really riled them in Homeland is this, I guess, and I don't watch the series where people sound culturally out of it, but what they tell me is that the inference and the connection in the series is that there's clear collusion with those in government and terrorist forces, and that's something that Pakistan cannot abide. But that question has been out there in real terms for Pakistan ever since 9/11 and harboring, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda types.
I agree. So the Pakistani officials will say, they side with the United States, they're allies of ours, they're fighting terrorism, and I'm sure at face value that's true, but how do we know 100% that sometimes they're not, dealing with the devil behind the scenes? I mean, we really don't know unless you're on the ground.
What we do know is that the doctor was key with finding Osama bin Laden, helping us get to Osama bin Laden. He's still holed up in a prison, will likely be for the rest of his life.
Exactly. They should release him from prison, and they should also stop oppressing their women. These poor women throughout the Middle East are being subjected to Sharia law, which subjects them to horrific human rights violations, whether it's sex slavery or worse.
And theirs is particularly acute, right? In other words, what Pakistan does goes beyond just what is accepted in that region, right?
It's horrific, and I just wish that more Democrat women in this country, like Senator Elizabeth Warren and Barbara Boxer, and feminists like Gloria Steinem would speak out against the horrors of Sharia law, because they're supposed to be the party of women, supposedly, yet they're silent on this. I mean, millions of women throughout the Middle East and North Africa are suffering, just these grave, grave human rights violations.
But maybe what Pakistan's doing right now, and if you think about it, is just deflecting and hoping that people and folks in their country get upset more at Hollywood and America, so that they're not aware of the nuttery going on right in their country.
I agree. I think they're trying to change the subject. I mean, like we said, they have much greater problems than some Hollywood television show that I haven't even seen. I mean, they have much greater political problems, because Taliban, and as you know with ISIS, these radical jihadist movements are spreading all over the Middle East. And could they someday take over Pakistan? Never say never. I mean, they're a powerful force. And so I think they need to focus on minding their own store.
Yeah, and it's a pretty messed up story.
It certainly is.
We'll have a lot more on this a little later in the show.